Hey there, yinzers. This is WAP bringing you another episode of Yinzology, the study of everything Pittsburgh. So, spoiler alert, if you haven't watched the tubular untubing, we took a look at that illustration of the Warhol Bridge. And we only scratched the surface because we are known as the city of bridges. I hate to burst any yinzer bubbles out there, but you grow up in Pittsburgh thinking, we have the most bridges in the world. This couldn't be farther from the truth. Yes, we have a lot of bridges. And yes, we have the topography, the confluence of three rivers. Beautiful landscape to display the beauty of bridges. But we do not have the most bridges. You go to places like Houston, Texas, they have over 1,000 bridges. The Netherlands, you think of the Dutch, or maybe Italy and Venice, thousands of bridges compared to our 464 bridges, depending on who you talk to. So if you happen to be searching on Amazon, maybe you're looking for a book on Pittsburgh bridges. There are a couple of them out there. Bob Reagan, in his book, he does claim that we have the most bridges in the world, but I don't think it's his fault. I think he's a yinzer, and he probably grew up hearing that his whole life. So I don't fault him for that, although if you're going to write a book, you should do a little more research. But he did write a book about how we have the most steps, and I do think that is a record we can hold on to. We have a lot of steps in Pittsburgh, if you didn't know that. And so before you purchase any books on Amazon, the one I want to recommend to you is by a man by the name of David McCullough. And he wrote The Great Bridge. And this is the book you need to start with. Not only because he's my favorite author and historian, and he has done many lectures, and he also narrated Ken Burns' documentary, The Civil War. He's won the Pulitzer Prize. He's won 2 National Book Awards. He's won the Presidential Medal of Freedom. And the list goes on and on. But also, he was a client of mine at BNY Mellon. And so I hold near and dear to my heart the few conversations that we had, not just about finance, but about life, about his family, mainly his brothers in Pittsburgh, because David McCullough is a yinzer, born and raised Allegheny General Hospital, ended up going to Shadyside Academy, and after high school, his older brother, Hax, went off to Yale, and so all the brothers followed him, and so David went to Yale. And after Yale, he didn't return back to Pittsburgh, but his family, a lot of his brothers, George, he talked about George a lot, who looking after their father's company. Hax McCullough was a great supporter of music and the fine arts, especially the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra. He did a lot of work for the music in Pittsburgh. The whole family, very creative, and David loved to paint. And he started out as a cartoonist for a newspaper. And then when he finished his schooling at Yale, he studied English. He went off to work for Sports Illustrated, not only as a writer, but as an editor, and always had this idea of a book in the back of his mind, going back to his Western PA roots. And that would have been the Johnstown flood. And when he put that book out, it was a huge success, enough of a push to really, he decided to go out on his own, and he came out with his second book, again, The Great Bridge. It's about the Roebling family and building the Brooklyn Bridge. And there are a lot of Western PA roots in this book because the Roebling family started out in Philly, but eventually moved out west, Western PA, in the Butler area in a little town called Harmony, and they bought 7,000 acres and called it Germania, and they changed the name to Saxonburg, and that's where the Roebling family started. And so it wasn't uncommon to see a Roebling Bridge in Pittsburgh. That was the bridge before the Smithfield Bridge, and they ended up using the very same foundations that Roebling built. And so there's a strong connection between Bridges and the Roebling family and David McCullough, and it's all connected. So when David turned 80, Pittsburgh decided to celebrate and honor David McCullough. And so when you cross over the 16th Street Bridge, it's now called the David McCullough Bridge. And so I hope to introduce you yinzers to another yinzer and all of his books. I want to take a deep dive into each book. 1776, we've got his first book, The Johnstown Flood. We've got The Pioneers, that's about the Ohio River, and Ohio River being like the gateway to the wilderness. And one of my favorites, The Wright Brothers. HBO did a movie based off of his book, Truman, with Sinise. Gary Sinise is a great actor. And then we've got John Adams, and HBO did another documentary series from his book, John Adams, with, what was his name? Paul Giamatti, another great actor. So yeah, there you go. Something to look forward to in the future, where we take a look at some of these books in depth and give you some good reasons why you might want to pick one up and read. I'm Double AP, and I'm out.